Okay, I thought there was something on my foot and I was gonna freak out for a second. Uh, if I do it like that. And move that over there like that. Oh wait, it's actually letting me move it into the non-safe area now. When did that change? That makes me happy. I can move it all the way down here. Before I go live on TikTok. Because I don't want people to spam. Okay, there we go. That'll be nice. That'll be perfect. Don't need to worry about that anymore. I should have done my nails. I had time. Because I might not be able to do my nails for a long time. Okay, where's the button for that? Thank you. Now if I go to here and I click on this, nope, that's my story. I want to see my live. Nope. I'm live right now. Instagram's just like, no. Um, Instagram, please. Why? Why you do this? Why you not let me see my live video? I am being punished. What if I hit this? Will this just... Yeah, that just pulls up my live video. Perfect. Thank you. Sitting here trying to figure out how to get my live stream working properly. Okay, let's make sure everything is closed over here and everything that I won't open is open. I also realized I didn't run my USB cord from my main computer so I can use my controller later. Because at some point I'm planning on playing games because developers have sent me some games. You're worried that the RAM might be slow on the computer you're buying, is pretty much what you're asking, right? Because honestly, a lot of people put too much, like, in my opinion, a lot of people put too much priority on RAM speed and they don't realize that they're losing out because they will go with lower capacity and higher speed because they think speed is going to be the main thing that they need. No, you need higher capacity RAM. Speed is your secondary condition that you should be looking at when it comes to RAM. Yeah. And it's also something that's easy to upgrade. Like, what GPU would I recommend? You're running a Ryzen, so an AMD GPU. Thank you. This is one of my favorite shirts of all time. I need to pester the creators of it to see if they are still selling more of these or if they'd be willing to like let the design go to someone else and have it in my shop, and then I give them the royalties. um, you want to buy a handheld PC? Is it good for mid and heavy gaming? Mid-range gaming, 100%. Heavy gaming, that's going to be a little bit tougher because when you get to small form factor, you do have some, like, especially at the price point they're selling them, they're not going to be high performance when it comes to high end games. Like, yes, there are quite a few AAA games that you can play on a handheld console. It's just they're not going to perform as good as they will on a massive desktop. What is the best thing to start programming? Honestly, the thing that I recommend if you do like computer stuff frequently, um, is automating some things on your computer. Like trying to use scripting language to just automate a few things so that way you can get a feel for how programming works and get a little bit more intense with your automation. And then start doing things like Python because then you can actually make programs to do things for you. What home labs do I recommend doing for a help desk resume? Um, that one's a tough one because usually help desk you're not going to run into a lot of things that would be home lab type things. Also, let me see if I can adjust this camera without moving the entire pole. Nope, too tight. So, like, honestly, just having a home lab with a few servers on it that you're testing out, like, if you can make your own web server, you can make your own email server, like, things like that are very basic, fundamental things that are super easy to do. Also, a file server. I should have said that one up front. Having a file server that you can store stuff on is something that demonstrates your tech knowledge very easily and is very useful. Because if you have a file server, you can usually turn it into a media server using like Jellyfin or Plex or things like that. Wait, in your school, they're still teaching Java and assembly. I mean, that's what I was learning in high school, but I didn't realize they were still teaching that. Um, is it better to build yourself a PC or to buy a pre-built? Usually, if you're going to buy a pre-built, the first place I recommend looking is Costco if you have access to a Costco membership. Because they have one of the best warranties out there, and they've had some really decent builds there. There are some places like you want to stay away from. I don't recommend Walmart, even though Sam's Club has had good builds. Walmart has crappy ones usually. You're usually paying more than you should for something that is harder to upgrade, harder to maintain, things like that. But usually, I recommend right now to buy a pre-built instead of building one yourself because you're going to spend way more on building it yourself. Pre-builts have a better cost ratio right now. Is an i5 sixth generation better than an i7? It depends on the i7, but especially an i5 that is sixth generation should be upgraded at this point. That is fairly old. Is Flipper really useful or is it just overrated? I think it's inflated in a lot of people's minds because a lot of people who don't work cybersecurity look at it and go, "Oh, that's like a super hacker tool." No, it's honestly, in my opinion, an educational tool for people learning cybersecurity. Like, if I'm doing Wi-Fi work, I'm not going to go get a module for my Flipper. I'm going to break out my Wi-Fi Pineapple and get modules for that because having the actual devices that are dedicated to doing cybersecurity work in that specific field is going to be way more powerful than the Flipper is. An i7 6500 should be better performance than the i5 6300, I think you said. But even still, you're going to want to upgrade past that because that is a sixth generation Intel, and honestly, it's at like it's not what I would recommend for most use. How much does everything I have for pen testing cost? No comment. I mean, just the stuff I have on my desk for pen testing is more than I would like to admit that I have spent. Can I give you advice for them or some advice for what exactly? I'm guessing I answered a question for yours and you're replying to me, but I don't know which question. Any good budget SSDs? Not currently. Because a lot of the budget SSDs that I'm seeing are ones that I wouldn't necessarily trust fully. And trying to find stats on them are a pain in the butt. Where's the best place to start a home lab? Currently have a Raspberry Pi 5, 8 gig. I mean, you can use that to start building out a storage server to test out doing a storage server or upgrade to something a little bit bigger. This is an HP Elite desk. I prefer Lenovo and Dell, but the Elite desks are pretty. There we go. Yeah, I definitely need to start using my normal Stream Deck because a company sent me this one and I don't want to say anything negative about it, but seriously, like straight up, the fact that it disconnects and like shuts down every so often, especially since it's a USB hub, and if it disconnects, everything connected to the USB hub disconnects. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You guys realize you can see on the screen. I didn't mean to block that person. I meant to mute that person. I like how when I have it on the screen saying you will be muted if you spam, and people spam more. Um, is it okay to use something like Goo Gone to remove hardened super glue on a notebook cover? Um, I don't think Goo Gone would do anything to the super glue. It shouldn't do anything to the plastic because I frequently use it. I'm literally going to be using it on this desk in a little bit because I flipped over the center uh gray mat that was there, and so it's a lighter gray. I think it looks a lot better. Um, but like there's glue on it, and I'm going to be using Goo Gone on it. And then the other thing I tend to use is isopropyl alcohol and Clorox wipes. Usually, like I will use Gooby Gone, then isopropyl alcohol, and then Clorox wipes because they clean each other up fairly decently. Granted, the isopropyl alcohol you don't really need to clean up, but it's able to clean up Gooby Gone, and also Clorox wipes do a phenomenal job. How do you repair a combo mouse and keyboard, but the keyboard is always showing battery too low? Like one of these? I'm not sure what you're talking about. Like, there's so many different brands, and usually I don't repair like keyboards because it's usually less expensive to just replace them. Have I had any fun test projects with the Flipper Zero? I mean, one of my favorite things, like the thing I actually really was happy about is um so I have two cats. One of them was adopted through my partner. Like it's my cat, but my partner was the one who did the adoption because I was at work. And I needed to know what the chip code was. And I like going to a vet's gonna be really expensive. And my other cat was a rescue. Like got it from a family that witnessed it being abused, and so the cat was being kept in the garage, and so they took the cat. Um, and we eventually got it, and so I needed to know both the chip codes for my cats, and they're both now stored in here. And I was able to go in and like get my name put onto their stuff. Um, and then my other favorite one that I've used this for is working in a conference room. Their TV was like their big TV was controlled by the table. And for some reason it was not working. So I was trying to figure it out, went through all the steps, and then I'm just like, okay, what is the TV actually broadcasting to the IR port? And there was a big long wire running all the way up to the TV to just blast right into the IR sensor. So I get a reading of what that looks like and could tell based off of how it showed up just how bad that cable must have been. Something was wrong with the cable because it was not showing up on here properly. It's one of those cables where you get to snip the ends and then strip the wires and then plug it in, kind of like the port on speakers, similar plug-in style. And so I just redid the ends, and it just worked perfectly. And the only reason I was able to properly diagnose it is because of this. Like, there's not a ton of uses that I have for it on a job site, but for educational purposes, it's phenomenal. And when I have it and I need it, it is amazing. Um, May I ask what's my major? My major was robotics engineering. I studied robotics engineering. I didn't graduate because I got bored. I have really bad ADHD, so I got bored. And I also needed to find a job. Um, like getting bored in college when you have like scholarships and grants, those tend to go away when your grades slip a little bit. So I'm just like, okay, I need to go find a job. And I went and got an internship working IT. And then I got my full time job within 6 months. What's the name of the device in the orange? This thing. This is the Flipper Zero. Is there any way to bypass a Wi Fi card whitelist on a laptop? What do you mean whitelist? Your laptop has a whitelist of what Wi Fi cards it will allow? Oh, I need to adjust something on TikTok for you guys. That's gonna be on top of the other stuff. I'm gonna move it right there. You guys should still be able to read that. It just looks a little different now. Okay. Sorry, I wanted to update things really quickly. Ooh, senior electrical engineer. Okay. Yeah, most of my studies were electrical engineering and then mechanical engineering and computer engineering, all piled onto each other for robotics. Um, yeah, but I love electrical engineering. The electrical lab that I got to like study in made my day. Am I checking TikTok comments? Yes. Your hard drive is like broken and it puts you into a boot loop. What can you do? The hard drive itself might not be broken. It could just be that Windows has broken in some way that makes it so it can't properly boot. You can use Windows repair tools to try to get it up and running. You can also use if you put it on if you have access to another computer, you can prepare a USB drive by formatting it and wiping everything off of it and putting Hiron's boot CD on it and using I think it has Crystal Disk built in, which is what you're going to use to see if your hard drive is failing. It will tell you if your drive's actually failing or if it's still good. What is the weirdest thing I have ever fixed? I have fixed. Oh, I think actually I just realized my favorite weird one. The control system for a car, like a high performance control system for a car. They had one and they tried to solder the chip in themselves and accidentally messed it up and put it backwards, and so it fried like half of the board. So they brought me the broken one and they said, we're ordering the new one, but here's the broken one so you can see what we did wrong and like know what's going on. Here is the new chip that we need to put onto the new board that we're bringing you. And so that was a really fun project. I love getting those type of projects. And I'm going to be sad that I won't get any more because I'm closing down my shop. I might figure out some way to do some work on the side, but yeah. You just bought a flipper. What project should you do to learn more about it? Um, I'm trying to think of what projects I would recommend. Like, honestly, trying to learn NFC tags, which if you have an Android phone, you can also put like Android has apps where you can read, write, and like tinker with NFC uh tags. I highly recommend that because this is able to emulate NFC tags. So using that in conjunction with your phone to learn about NFC is really fun. Um, why am I closing my repair shop? Because it is not really viable to run a computer repair shop right now. Like, there have been a few videos that one of my favorite creators who like got started similar to me, um, but has done such better content. Um, Salem Techsperts has done multiple videos talking about why he closed his repair shop and how it's just not as viable anymore. Um, I finally, like last year, I should have closed it when I had to take time off to be the caretaker for my mom while she was getting cancer treatment. Um, Honestly, that should have been when I closed it, but I held off because I'm just like, I'd love to continue having the shop, and I would love to like get it back to where it was before I had to take a break and before things happened that caused it to not have as much like people coming by. Um, and so I just tried to rebuild it, and then with tariffs and with the RAM and storage crisis, I struggled a lot because I lost about 12 different suppliers between multiple countries because they would no longer ship to the US. And then found out that the RAM crisis was going to be a lot longer. Like, literally found out a little while ago that the RAM crisis is going to go until 2028. And between that and a certain strait being closed, causing circuit board prices to go up, yeah, it's not viable for me to run my shop. And I've had so many amazing customers over the past little while, very disappointed that my shop will not be here uh, by the end of this year. Probably by the end of this month, my shop will no longer be here. Why would I recommend having a Wi-Fi pineapple? It is a fantastic Wi-Fi penetration tool and a Wi-Fi inspecting tool. It's not as powerful as a lot of others, like um, Track It Pacer has some phenomenal videos with what is that thing called? It has like the Wi-Fi mapping tool that I really really love. That thing is so cool. And then like there's different tools for Wi-Fi for different things. This specifically will show you what Wi-Fi's are around you and what devices are connecting to them. Um, and also lets you run pen tests on them, see what you can actually find out and what's going on. Have I worked on any projects related to 3D printing? Not lately, because I have a Prusa Mark II that I got in like 2020, and I used it for about a year, and then like the maintenance of that thing just became too time consuming for me, and so it got stuck in a corner, and now it's covered in dust. Honestly, I need to sell it, but at this point, I'm probably not going to get a lot of money for it. Due to increased cyber attacks, how important do I see self-hosting? I mean, I don't use cybersecurity attacks as a reason to self-host because cybersecurity attacks are also something that can affect you like when you're hosting it yourself. So that's not really going to prevent cybersecurity attacks. Um, I recommend self-hosting because when there's an internet outage or when there's a massive outage because someone hit the wrong button, that system still works because it's self-hosted. But there are a lot of systems now where you can do hybrid hosting, where you have self-hosted and it is also supplemented by cloud hosting. So you can have like your office spread out and have work from home users and things like that. It makes it a lot easier. Oh yeah, Robo Twilight. So the main reason I say Android for NFC stuff, I just now read your comment. I'm trying to read across multiple different comment sections. Um the main reason I say Android is because iPhone you can do NFC stuff, but it made it harder for me to do. On Android, it was like super easy. iPhone, it was like, why is this not working? what is my what is the best Xbox game? Um, my favorite has pretty much since it came out been Halo Reach. But that's because I'm biased. And like my first Xbox was the Halo 3 Xbox 360. I still have the collector's edition. I have the Halo 3 collector's edition Master Chief helmet and everything like that. Um like I love that game series way more than is healthy, and it is just I haven't played the new Halo remake because I'm waiting until I have like um Xbox Game Pass again, because I don't want to, like, Xbox Game Pass is usually my way of, okay, I can budget for this so I have entertainment for a month. But because like my partner was just here and I'm closing the shop, I'm like, okay, those extra things I don't need to pay for right now. I like even Halo Infinite, like I'll be honest, all of the Halo stuff that is released since Bungie stopped developing for Halo, it hasn't been as good. But I do actually really like Halo Infinite. That one is a very fun game. How much time to learn C++? That depends on the person. Like a lot of people ask me how long it takes to learn a programming language. All of that depends on how you are. Okay, I like some of the questions that are being asked, but you guys are spamming them. So you go in timeout for a little bit. What is the best old GPU? I mean, for my purposes, like the super inexpensive ones that are for office work to do multiple screens, because most systems already have like built-in drivers that work perfectly for them. So if you're testing a system, works it makes it so much easier. Honestly, Halo 3 is probably the best game out of the entire Halo franchise, but Halo Reach, I'll be honest, Halo Reach made me cry. Like first made me cry with happiness because of how gorgeous and beautiful that game was. Like that game pushed the Xbox 360 like past what it's capable of doing, honestly. Like it pushed the boundaries of what they are able to do. And then the story of Halo Reach. It like for all of the people who really like lore and things like that, Halo Reach gave so much of the lore that we had been wanting for so long. And it like one of the things I got the special edition of Halo Reach. And in that it has Halsey's journal. I read that cover to cover multiple times. My first IT journal was based off of the build of Halsey's journal. Like, I made it to the same size and everything when I started my IT career. And like, that got me through IT for quite a few years. Granted, I filled it in like the first 6 months. I made another journal after that, but I didn't fill it with as much stuff because I didn't like it was mostly referencing the old journal. I like I don't know if I've shown my journals in videos because like some of the stuff is confidential stuff still. I'll probably show like some examples of what's in them. But yeah. Do I have a home lab? Yes, I have a very large home lab that is currently off because of how hot it is. Yeah, Gears of War has a really, really good story. I think the main reason Gears of War did not like Gears of War has a fairly long lineage at this point, but I feel like the reason it isn't as talked about is just because like it feels like with Gears of War, it feels like the same as Dead Space. They went for the gore factor, and like that's kind of a thing that people stay away from. Like I think that's why Halo did so well is because they didn't focus on gore, even though they have the opportunity to. They have the flood, and they have plasma rifles that like burn through people. So yeah, is there a point that we can get free permanent Microsoft Office and how? I mean, Microsoft Office is a paid program. Like you can get I want to say they still have like Microsoft Office 2026 that is like you buy a license key and you get it, but you're not going to be able to get it for free unless like you're a student. Some universities you can get it for free, but I don't think many are doing that anymore. You want to buy a home lab, but you don't know how much it'll cost. Start with something small. Start with something like this. This is an HP Elite Mini. Um, Fantastic. Has multiple slots for SSDs. Has upgradable RAM. Is a fairly decent machine. This thing is actually currently well, I need to get the servers up and running on it, but it's currently running the host stuff to do gaming servers. And then once I have it up, I'm gonna have like small little gaming servers I can play on with friends. Can I use my PC without fans? No. Like you can for like 5 seconds before it turns off. Ooh, a programming journal sounds so cool. I love like different tech journals that people have because there's always like every person in every industry has like specialized tools that they use that they don't realize other people use. Like there's an entire video that Adam Savage did where he is talking about some of the tools that he uses that are specifically designed for different industries. Like he uses jewelers tools frequently in his work because like delicate jewelers clamps and things like that are so useful. What do I mean by no AI? Oh, I'm just tired of AI questions at this point. Like AI is mostly harmful, so it's exhausting. A tech journal like Substack or note taking like Notion or Obsidian. No, I mean like a physical journal. Like I have physical journal. I think don't I have mine in here? Where did I put it? It's right there. I need to use this one a little bit more, but this is my content creation journal. Like, in here we have countless pages. I have not used this nearly as much as I should. Then back here, like, we have different notes and things. Oh, it's my receipts from last year when I was doing taxes. Yeah. So, like, this is what I mean by a journal. This is still based off of the Halsey Journal. If anyone has ever seen the Halsey Journal, it's the same stitching, and then I just did different things for the front. Because the one downside of the Halsey Journal is if you actually read it more than once, the front starts wearing down as you open and close it. So on this one, I redid that and made it better. And then I even added, oh, there's a button on the front, so I can close it up like that. I like making my own journals. Because there's something about, like, making that and then, like, knowing that it is mine. I created it throughout the whole process, except for making the paper. Do I recommend having a home lab? I highly recommend having a home lab if you're working tech because it keeps your skills sharp. It is some place that you can experiment on things with. Like, I'm literally working on this computer so that I can know how different systems work. I'm trying out different ways of doing game server hosting instead of just using the software I always like. Um, I have both on, like, I think on all of my platforms right now. I have a post where I'm asking about a tool that, like, a type of tool that most people use, trying to find out what features people need because I want to go through a bunch of the different options and see what ones work the best for what people need. Let's see. I'm gonna pull up that app. Oh, that was horrifying. A cosplayer was, like, using a filter that just looked horrible. Yeah, this post right here. What do you need from a multi-boot tool? And I haven't really gotten many comments on it. So if you guys, like, use multi-boot tools like Ventoy, Yumi, Easy to Boot, like things like that, what are the features you need from them? Like, go and comment on that thing so I know. Because I am doing a breakdown of multiple different ones, and I know what one I prefer, but I want to know what features people prefer because oftentimes people don't know what other options there are out there. They just stick with the one that they know and have used and then just kind of get stuck at that point. Like, I've used Ventoy, I've used Yumi, Easy to Boot was one of my favorites, which it includes Ventoy built into it. Yeah, like, there are countless different options for tools like that, but, like, nowadays I use my this thing. More than anything, I use my ST400 because it works better than any other option I used, but I don't want to be stuck on a tool if it's not the right tool. And so I will actively try out different tools and see which ones are actually going to do the things I want. Have I heard of long range wide area network communication devices? Like Meshtastic? I mean, that one's more short range. Unless you have, like, things set up for doing longer range. I like that people really like my shirt. I need to pester them and see. Hey, DT bro, how's it going? I'm also trying to watch. I have not seen the Odyssey yet. I need to go see the Odyssey and I need to see Spider-Man. But like I said, I'm closing my shop, so I'm trying to be a little bit more frugal. Um, I spent a lot more money than I kind of intended on my partner being here, but my partner was having a bad time, and I'm like, okay, let's have you come down for a visit, and we try to help. Raspberry Pi project ideas. I mean, the one that's sitting on my desk is a Pi KVM. This thing is probably one of my favorite projects. You put a very inexpensive capture card on it. I think this thing was like $15, the capture card, and then you get a few other things like one of these to have a breakout, so you can do power and USB C, and then I have wires coming out of here because I'm building out the breadboard for it to actually control the computer turning on and off, and also for it to like know if the computer is on and off, um, based off of the lights on it. And yeah, it just works. Like you can have it use Wi-Fi or you can plug it into the network. I prefer plugging it into the network. But yeah, then you have a remote KVM of that computer where you can control the mouse and keyboard anywhere. It's honestly one of my favorite projects. What is my plan after the shop? I'm currently looking for jobs. I've applied for a few. There's one that I honestly would really rather have. Because right now I'm hoping for a part-time job since I need income. I have bills to pay. I have more debt leaving the shop, like closing the shop, than I did have opening it. So that's fun. Um, and then like I'd rather work part time so that way I can like clean up what's left over from the shop. I can get rid of things and I can downsize my life because at some point I plan on moving and honestly, yeah, create a YouTube channel. Like it's it's mentioned on the screen. I'm hoping to move closer to the West Coast. We're looking at Oregon because I have friends in Oregon, and so I'd prefer moving someplace that I have somewhat of a safety net. Like it's kind of a big risk to move states away, but if I have somewhat of a safety net, it would be better. Also, I don't know if you guys know this, but I am very very queer. You'd rather watch me than Linus or Jay's Two Cents. Hey, Jay's Two Cents is one of my favorite creators. Um, like especially because he came from the same background of repair shop. Um, the other creator I can't stand, especially after he said certain things about autistic people and made fun of an autistic person, even though he's autistic. So that should make it okay that he made fun of an autistic person for being autistic, right? No. Is GUI Linux actually worth it? Yeah. I so when I use Linux, I usually use a GUI version of Linux because there are ways to disable the desktop so it just boots to terminal. It's a little bit of a pain. It can break some things. But honestly, when I'm first working on a system, I have a screen keyboard and mouse hooked up to it to get it up and running to what I want. And then when I remote into it, like even if I'm doing multiple different like things on the same machine. I want it to stay on that machine. I don't want my main computer having four terminal windows all open to the same system so I can work on things. I'd rather remote into that system and open four terminal windows. Like that is my preference. That way when I close that remote session, all of that is contained in there. It's like having a different Chrome window with a bunch of tabs on the thing you're looking into. When you close that window, it closes all of it instead of you having to go through multiple different ones. Or if you minimize it and walk away for a little while, it's still there. What is the minimum internet speed to have stable home lab hosting? I mean, I've done it on 5 meg per second. Like, especially if you're doing home lab stuff, it's internal networks mostly. And even if you have a 10 megabit per second network, you can still do home lab stuff. You can't do as much. Like, heck, I had it on back when my home network was just all over Wi-Fi on the old like Netgear blue and black thing that had the antennas sticking up out of the back. That was it. That was my entire home lab, was like through the network over Wi-Fi. I didn't start doing wired until way later. You need some advice on learning micro soldering. Got any tips? Honestly, the main tip I have is hit up some of like your electronics repair places, like computer repair places, not like Geek Squad, but like independent ones, and ask them if they have any like failed parts. Like, I mean, heck, this is an example motherboard that I use for like videos and live streams because this is failed. The motherboard right here is not working. CPU still kind of working, but I wouldn't trust it because of how the motherboard failed. Um, but this gives you a lot of different components that are through hole, and then a lot of different components that are surface mount for you to try micro soldering with. This is what I recommend testing with so you can learn what you're doing and learn how it feels as you're doing it. I highly recommend, especially if you can find a place that has like old motherboards that they're getting rid of, because it gives you so many opportunities to test. I went to Uwu. No, I went to Uvu. I was in the mechatronics program at, granted, that is a different school. That's just for the memes of this shirt. But yeah, I was studying mechatronics, which is robotics engineering, with a focus on maintaining and repairing. Oh yeah, I loved doing robotics engineering. Yeah, actually, one of the fun things is they posted earlier last month that they, so like I follow their surplus just to see what they're getting rid of, and because I still live in Utah, I can go there and get surplus stuff. And they finally got rid of the robotic arms that I trained on that had been there. I went to school there like 15 years ago, decade and a half, and they just recently got rid of the robotic arms I trained on. I know they were not set up anymore because for the past 5 years, the lab that I trained in had been dismantled and they built up a new lab in a different room. But yeah, like they finally took those out of storage and went, ooh, we should get rid of those. Do I have a degree in computer science or related? No, I do not have any degrees. I went to university, but I did not graduate. Have I ever used FreeBSD for home labbing? Not straight FreeBSD. I've used other things that are built off of it. Um, because mostly when I do home labbing, it's not getting to that level. Like usually it's you building out something using FreeNAS, Proxmox, AMP. What are some of the other ones that I've used that are main? Like anytime I build out a home lab, I build one. pfSense. Granted, I don't do pfSense as much anymore. I dropped out. What major? I was studying mechatronics, robotics engineering. Is scrapping old stuff for parts for ESP32 projects worth it, or the newer the better? I mean, you can get some parts from old boards and things like that for projects. But most of the time when I'm building something out or testing it, I'm ordering new. Like, where did I put the rest of my project? Like, I have all of the components for different things, and I just usually get new components to test with, and then if I can find them on a different board, I might take them from there. Like, especially ports, I'll usually take from an old board or something like that. Is OpenBSD good or outdated? It's still good. A lot of different things use it. What are my thoughts on the new Unify NAS? I'm not a fan of Unify. I stopped using it for a while ago, and I don't plan on going back. Like, I know a lot of people will rave about it, but just ran into too many problems. Oh my gosh, there is still a fly in my house. So right before my partner got here, suddenly we had like 50 flies in my apartment. Can't figure out why. Because like I had cleaned the apartment, taken all of like anything that was gross or anything like that, gotten rid of it, and then suddenly there were like 30 flies in my apartment. I think it's because we had one of those fly traps in the backyard, and it happened to be near a place they could get into the house, and so when the fly trap was taken away, they could still smell it, and they went investigating in the house. I think that's what happened. But like I've been getting rid of flies like none other. There's a fly trap right behind the camera that has 0 flies on it. Pretty sure it has absolutely no fly. If there's a video in a few days of me ranting because fly traps don't work, it's gonna be me showing that. Have I worked with Extreme Network equipment? Extreme Networks equipment. No. Is the LilyGo T embedded better than the Flipper Zero? No, not from what I've seen, because the Flipper Zero has better documentation. Um, has anyone tried the Alta Labs equipment? Because that is my favorite currently. Like, it still has some catching up to do in some ways, but like I like a company that is able to put out like weekly or every other week major updates of them listening to what people are wanting and getting things implemented. That is what I like in a company. Like, if I'm going to, like, if it's a starter company that is trying to get into a field and I'm investing money into it, which I have by buying some equipment and also getting some sent to me for free, um, I want them to actually be updating it frequently. Like, is that so hard to ask? I mean, here's part of my current stack that I'm going to be doing videos about. I need to figure out, okay, here's my problem right now. This is an AP7. So, Wi Fi 7. I don't have a good way to test this. I love this thing. It is a chunker. Like, seriously, I'm pretty sure this weighs more than one of my cats. There's a specific cat that it weighs more. Oh yeah, no, I know there's a lot of devices like the LilyGo T deck that has more features than the Flipper Zero. But devices like the Flipper Zero, in my opinion, are better suited for educational purposes, for people to learn, because there's a lot of different things in this that you can learn. You can learn like NFC buttons, RFID, sub 5 gigahertz radio frequency stuff. Like, there's so many things you can do with this that you can't do when you get like a major tool like this. This is just like all in one for you to test with and learn about. And so when it's a device like this, it needs the documentation behind it. because it fits into that little cluster right there. So when it doesn't have the documentation, I'm just like, okay, that's not really going to fit the need that it fits best in. Like, yes, I get that, like, most of them are trying to be like, yeah, we're the ultimate hacker tool, but it's like, you're not. The ultimate hacker tool for what you're describing is 5 different tools and usually a small form factor bag holding them with a battery bank inside. Is Orange Pi better price to performance than Raspberry Pi? I do not know the current Orange Pi offerings. I usually like I just said with the Flipper Zero. Usually, I go with what has more documentation because if something goes wrong, I want to have the documentation behind it. So if it's another company that is doing the same thing as one that has a ton of documentation and they don't have as much documentation, I'm going to go to the one that has more. Man, things have TikTok has not been picking up today. Like that is whoa. Okay, I'm going to restart the TikTok live stream because I literally was just watching it and I went from 30 viewers down to 9. So I'm going to restart. TikTok has tweaked the algorithm and it has not been showing me to people who would be watching me. So I'm going to restart the TikTok stream really quick. Like, that is a little bit beyond ridiculous today. With normally talking about the same stuff, I am at 50 viewers all the way up to 100. Yeah. I'm sorry, TikTok, but why am I getting suppressed? Is it just because I have YT and Instagram have priority? Is it reading my screen and getting upset at me? Also, I might need to turn my AC back on for a few minutes. Okay, let's see. I want to pull this up really quick so I can see what's going on with my stream. See if there's anything weird going on. That's not the account that I wanted. Is Libre Boot better than Corp? I haven't used either of those. So I would not know off the top of my head. Oh, come on. There we go. Why is TikTok now showing me like AI stuff? I don't want generative AI garbage stuff. Also, where'd my cat go? Oh, she went and hid under the table. I can't grab her from under the table and show her. I guess if like I'm not going to get a ton of questions, I can actually work on this server. Which was my original plan for this stream, but normally if I start working on something, a ton of people start asking me questions, so let's see if that happens today. Zoe, 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 keep an eye on the camera. Keep an eye. I'm so abusive to my mods. Okay. See if I can move this to like right here. what are some good projects for learning more about this stuff? What specifically, like what area would you want to be learning about? Yep, that's the right one. Oh, it's already on. Okay. Flipper Zero type hacker stuff. Well, the Flipper Zero is not like a tool that hackers would commonly use, but the Flipper Zero is the way I would learn. I would recommend learning about stuff like that because the Flipper Zero is pretty much an educational tool that you can learn a lot of different cybersecurity tools with. You need something to do with an old PC. You're wanting to home lab it. I mean, what I'm doing right here is something you could do with it. Let's see how badly I messed this thing up. Restore session. I like how I searched for microscopic on here. I had to make sure the definition of how big I am is correct. Do you buy a NAS or do you buy a? Is a DAS actually a thing? This thing needs wired internet. I keep forgetting that. Direct attached storage. Okay. Um, I mean, the way I usually do it is I use FreeNAS on a system with a bunch of drives. Usually, if you have a tower that you can use, you can build out to be a full NAS. Like a mini PC can also work, but usually I recommend like getting an old office tower because you can usually get them for fairly cheap. And if you like look at the specs of them and the insides, you can usually find ones that have multiple SATA ports or even spare PCI lanes that you can plug a card in so it can control multiple drives. That's usually what I would recommend. Because with doing a NAS, if you do it like yourself using TrueNAS, then you learn a lot. Where if you like buy a NAS like Ugreen, I love the Ugreen NASs. I love Synology NASs. I know there's other brands, but those are my two favorites. Like I love those, but you don't learn as much using them because you're not building out a system, you're not having to configure it and things like that. Unraid, I'm not as big of a fan of. I just like every time I've used it or looked at it, I'm just like, I can do this for free. Okay, let's see. I've already done that part. Hey, the server is actually working. I just need to do like the virtualization side so that I can have game servers up and running. One of the main game servers I need to get up and running is crap, why did I just forget the name of it? RimWorld. There's multiplayer for RimWorld, and my partner really likes that game. How feasible would it be to hack your printer so you can use third-party cartridges and remove locks? It's fairly annoying and difficult. Usually, I just recommend buying a Brother or Epson printer. You don't have to worry about that stuff when you use those. Brother doesn't mind you using third-party cartridges. Epson just gives you access to the like holders for ink, and you can just refill them. Is it necessary to impulsively buy a PC now due to increasing prices of PC components? It's not necessary to buy a PC right now, but like you can get some good deals on pre-built right now. What's my main use for the Flipper Zero? Education. Is it relevant to start learning Python or step into programming? Hey Zoe, is it still relevant to learn how to program? Or do you think we should just let AI take it all over? Zoe, you like AI, right? You guys didn't know Zoe is a programmer and one of my mods. Yeah, no, if you didn't know, so if you actually ask tech professionals who are programmers about what they think of AI, a lot of them are very upset, especially higher up programmers, because they keep having slop put into their code by other programmers who think they know what they're doing and just put garbage into the code that they got from AI. Because getting snippets of code to help build out parts of your code doesn't always work. If it doesn't know the whole code, it can cause very disastrous issues. And one of the issues we're going to be facing over like the next decade is a lot of code that needs to be fixed by humans because other humans messed it up with AI. They either let AI do the entire programming or they just gave AI small bits and then put small bits that the AI gave back to them. It's exhausting. Yes, if you spam the joke multiple times, it'll get more funny. And it'll get you muted. What to do if your keyboard switches won't work? What do you mean the switches? Exactly. Like people don't realize that we're all like because of AI, we're getting more slop code that adds more vulnerabilities. Because the AI is not focused on security, it's focused on your prompt. But when you're programming something at the back of your mind, usually you're thinking about security, even though you don't realize it. It's one of those things that gets ingrained in you after you run into security issues or you have to fix code for security. Your brain just automatically starts going, okay, will this be secure if I do this? Or you leave a note for yourself saying, fix this to add security. Like, I don't, I've had so many arguments with AI people lately, and it's exhausting. Like there's a major creator who just came out talking about how he has been using AI and realizing just how addicted he was getting to it. And I don't think that creator should be canceled, but I completely agree with him taking a step back for a little while because he's realizing he's suffering from the thing that we already know happens. He's having a bit of cognitive decline and he has to work on himself to get back up to where he was. Can we go back to copying and pasting human written code off of Stack Overflow like in the old days? Literally, that's how I learned to code so many things. My first game was three different games that people had made that were very basic, just mushed together, and I just figured out how to tweak them to get everything to work. And then I restructured the code in my own way so that it was my code after I figured out how to get their code working together. Like, you learn so much. Should we rely on AI at all? There are some good uses for AI, but when you start relying on it, then you start going down a very bad path especially because currently the amount that you pay to use AI is not enough to keep AI up and running. So at some point, they either have to massively increase the cost for you to use it, or they have to do some other way to make up for the money. Either one of those is a bad situation. If you're relying on it and they suddenly up the cost, you're kind of screwed. If they go some other route to make money, you're usually going to be the product in that situation. Or option three, the big companies that are doing AI just go under. And so you're left out in the wind without AI at that point. Like, yes, AI will still be around, but if like a company is not making money, like certain companies currently aren't, yeah, they're going to go away if they can't make money. Just run it locally. Okay, how are you going to train it locally to update it when you find out that something's not working in it properly? Do you have the infrastructure to properly train an AI? Do you have the data set to properly train the AI? Do you have the storage to store that data set to properly train an AI? I mean, that's why we're building out so many data centers right now, is to store the data set that they're using to train AI with. I don't think people realize how much data it takes to make current AI. It is an extreme amount. Ooh, okay, you're going from SATA to control your RGB. I mean, I guess that would work. I've never actually used SATA to connect to it, but that makes sense. I mean, it's technically like a data connector that it could use. In 50 years, these conversations will resemble the ones at the onset of electricity. There were conversations at the onset of electricity that talked about how relying on electricity will cause you to not be able to use electricity because it costs more than they charge for you to use electricity? Or are you just trying to come up with a BS excuse to say anyone who doesn't agree with using AI at all times is dumb? It's the same as, I'm not religious, but it's the same excuse as, oh, you'll find out when you're dead. Like, that's the that's the excuse you're using right now. Do I work with any principal investigators? What do you mean? Zoe has a data set of Twitch chat. Oh god, that's gonna be the worst AI of all time. Um, what is the password? Oh, it's 1969. I'm just like, I know I didn't use my normal password on this. Would it be this one? Would it be this one? 1969. Yay, okay. I just typed it wrong. I'm still shocked to this day that no one has like gotten after me for like saying my password out loud as I'm typing it on screen. Get a normal monitor. Why? Oh, okay, you're saying yourself. Okay, I just saw the second part of your comment and not the first. Honestly, like depending on the work you do, if you do work where you have like frequently will have two windows side by side, ultra wide is going to be so amazing for you. Or if you ever work with data, ultra wide is going to be amazing. Ubuntu and Flipper Zero. Yeah. What about it? Is AOC a good budget monitor? Yes. Because I've used AOC monitors. I'm trying to think if I've used any in the past few years. Oh God, someone made a model based on 4chan data? That's horrifying. Have I heard anything about Pax Silica? I have no clue what you're talking about. Did I read your comment? I don't see your comment. Give me just a second. Don't mind me. I was just using a Q-tip in the way you're not supposed to use them. What does overheating on a PC lead to inside it? What do you mean lead to? Like, it can cause damage depending on how hot it gets, but usually most computers have thermal shutoff points that are below where damage would normally start. But prolonged heat, where you are keeping it at a higher temperature but just below that shutoff for long periods of time, can still lead to damage. You still refusing to use or talk about AI? At no point have I said I ever refuse to use AI. I just avoid using it whenever possible. I'm just tired of AI bros because anytime there's an AI bro and I point to why I don't use AI, they just turn into the screaming child in the back of the car and resort to straw men and insults. Like, it's not worth it to me to constantly have the same argument with AI bros. Okay, I have to remember how to set that up because I was in the middle of doing it and I canceled it last time. What other tech questions do people have? Oh, there have been more tech questions. Chat just stopped scrolling down. What? I'm just like, no one's talking, but there's a bunch of people here. How often do liquid coolers leak? If it's a custom loop, they have a chance of leaking. If it's an AIO, the chance of leaking is extremely low, like pretty much zero. So yeah. As a senior dev, I do not hire AI users. Yeah, because like, so pretty much what I have been finding talking to a bunch of different experts in different fields is when they have talked to people who have been using AI for the same thing that they're doing as their job, like being a senior developer, being IT admin, being a scientist, being like a professional at any level. I've talked to people in a lot of different jobs when they've talked about, oh yeah, this person like was using AI for all these things, and we found out half of their stuff was wrong because they went based off of this fundamental flaw that AI did, like, lied about or was mistaken on something. Vicky, I don't see a fucking comment from you. So you telling me to read your fucking comment does nothing. Here. Let me bring you over to the other screen, and I will show you that the only comments I have seen from you are you complaining that I'm not replying to your comment. See, here's you complaining about it. Then we go up here, you complaining about it, and then trying to find any comment from you, you complaining about it again. Does my tweaks get removed? Yeah, okay, sure, your tweaks get removed. I don't know what you mean. There you go. I answered your question. Sure, your tweaks get removed. I don't know what tweaks, but sure. Scroll up more. You do realize every time that I scroll up and a new person comments, it drags the chat back down. That was me actively scrolling up and fighting against it, dragging my chat back down. So at this point, Vicky, like, unless you want to try again to make your comment, if you're just going to complain, get bent. Like, I'm not dealing with it. You getting upset at me for TikTok filtering out your comment is not going to fix anything. And it's not going to make me want to answer your question. I'm sorry, but okay, chill, bro. Okay, bye, bro. Like, fuck off. I literally just saw you finally ask your question and I was going to answer it, but no, fuck you. Like, you're sitting here complaining and bitching at me for you getting filtered out by TikTok, which I have no control over. Yeah. Sorry for anyone else that I've missed your comments. Like, literally, I muted someone who was spamming and then it kept my chat way up there for some reason. Didn't drag it back down like it normally does until I scrolled back down. TikTok chat is one of the most annoying things ever. Would creating a small scale Active Directory in a home lab help for desktop support roles? Yes. Like, straight up, I've done that before. So the thing I've done is I have had Proxmox, and then I had Windows Server 2016, right? No, 2012. I had Windows Server 2012, and then I had 4 different virtual machines on Proxmox so that I could, like, test out Active Directory across all of them. UniFi or Omada, neither. UniFi has given me too many problems, and I haven't been able to test Omada because TP-Link said they were going to send me some, and then they didn't. I prefer Alta Labs. Like, it works so nicely. What is the best OS for NAS? I recommend TrueNAS. Isn't it still called TrueNAS? I know they keep changing the name like every few years. Okay, yeah, it's still called TrueNAS. They just changed the name of like the version you use. Come on, give me the different versions. Yeah, TrueNAS Community Edition. Wasn't it like Scale and then something else for a while? Yeah. I like how Blackie's comment there started out like uh yeah, UniFi, their hardware is garbage, but their firmware is also like it looked like it was going to turn around to be good. No. Is the 1060 still yeah, it should still be able to do 1080p. How do you fix your fan having a rattling noise, and when you press it, the rattling noise goes away? Replace the fan. Because that means the fan is failing. Something has gotten inside, knocked things loose, so that like there's debris in there, and so it's causing the fan to skip. And honestly, like there are some fans you can get now where you can take the blades off and you can clean the inside, but it is very rare to find fans like that. So most of the time, replacing the fan is going to be your better option. Is a 1080 Ti in 2026 still good? No, I have been recommending people move away from the 1080 at this point. 10 series has finally gotten to the point where it is not really, I don't recommend it. If you can move away from the 10 series, you should at this point. What would I do with an Active Directory in a home lab? Group policy. Group policy testing. See if you can learn how to make group policy do what you want. You can make it, like literally, I've had it where I've had places I manage where the group policy managed every piece of software installation. And like you could take a brand new computer, join it to the domain, and then not do anything else. It would set up everything else for you. Microsoft Office, Google Chrome, let's see what else, printer setups, driver setups, software setups. Like we had a few different pieces of software that were company wide. Like Active Directory and group policy is one of the most powerful tools that people kind of sleep on. It's insane. Which very light Linux is best for everyday use? Which one? I am not sure off the top of my head. Someone's mentioned one that is the one that I recommend, and I can't remember what it is. Why do you hate BYU? Because people who like BYU come into my comments and don't read that it says don't spam. Like, literally. Oh, so he just straight up blocked them. Fair. I was going to taunt them a bit more, but yeah. Have I ever worked with Pi clusters? I don't understand Pi clusters because, like, this right here is more powerful than a Pi cluster and is the cost of one Pi. Like, to do a Pi cluster, it is so much more work and money. I don't get it. Like, I've done clusters before. I've done desktop clusters, small form factor desktops, so much cheaper than doing it with Raspberry Pis. I don't understand like, that's one of those things. Like, I don't understand CyberDecks. I don't criticize people for making CyberDecks. I just don't understand them. I'm just like, this is a fad I don't understand at all. And then Pi clusters. I don't understand either of those because they don't make rational sense. Like, I get the people who are just like, yeah, I'm making this cyber deck to be a thing that sits on my shelf and look pretty. And I'm like, that's a cool craft. You're doing a craft. Like, at that point. It's the people who are like, yeah, I'm making a cyber deck and I'm going to be using it every day to stay away from the man. And I'm going to be using it for cybersecurity stuff. I'm like, there's better solutions for that. Like, am I wrong? Like, I want to make a cyber deck because I like making props and things like that. I'm gonna unplug this for now because I'm just talking. Um, but I don't understand the obsession with them. Like, there are very small form factor computers that you can get if you're doing cybersecurity stuff and you want a small computer. This was my small form factor computer for a lot of this stuff for a while. And I love this thing to death. This is a Zipit Z2. But like there's limitations to it because it's small form factor and also expansion card. Somewhere around here I have the custom made expansion port thing that I made for it. So I could use USB in a few different things. Because that expansion port had USB audio and like a whole bunch of other stuff. It was like a full-on laptop with a dock. Hey, thank you guys so much for all of the gifts coming in so far. You love my t-shirt. I need to message the people who made it and go, hey, are you guys still selling this? Or be like, I know you guys don't want to do some of that stuff, so would it be okay if I put it on my thing? Oh, you have a Windows XP disk that is still in the original packaging? Yeah, that's actually fairly rare at this point. That's actually awesome. Can I give you some examples of what would be better for data hoarding and prepping instead of a cyber deck? A desktop. Because if you set up the desktop in the right way, you can remote into it from your phone or just have a portable screen. Like, especially if you're prepping, something like this is going to be a better option for you. And like, you can run things like Nomad on it. So you can have a lot of the prepper stuff in it. You factory reset your PC, but it is stuck in a boot loop where it go. Sorry, give me a second. I did not drink pop. Why am I burping? Um, it's stuck in a loop where it's going preparing Windows and then turns off and comes back on to preparing Windows. That could be something didn't like, especially if you do reset your PC and you do it not with the cloud option. It's why I always recommend using the cloud option for it to download a fresh copy for it to install. Um, there can be some things that are broken with your computer that you don't realize that are only broken in like when it's setting up. And so it's using that broken part and trying to work, but then it's crashing. So what you need to do is you need to get a Windows installer. Like if you have a friend or someone else who has a Windows laptop, download the media creation tool and plug in a USB that you don't mind wiping all the data on and having it be a Windows installation uh, thing, and just do a reinstall at that point. That's going to be your best option right now. And you might also want to see if there's anything wrong with your drives. Like once you get all set back up and running, you can use a Crystal Disk for that to see if there's anything going on with your drives. Do I prefer laptops or PC cases? I prefer desktops for the most part. Like I like laptops, but there's too many things that can go wrong, and there's not as much expandability or upgradability in laptops, especially by certain brands. Hence one of the reasons I use like Dell and Lenovo because a lot of theirs have a lot of expansion options. And heck, the laptop I gave to my partner is the Lenovo laptop. It's one that is just like right after it could start doing Windows 11, but it's not at the point where it's one of the Lenovo laptops that can be charged via USB C, which makes me sad. Hence why I also gave it to my partner. I'm like, yeah, you can have the laptop that I can't charge on the go easily without taking a cable with me. Do you just put the USB in the PC and wait? No. When you plug it into the computer, there's going to be a button that you press on like the top bar, like up here, as it's booting up, so that you can select the USB as what you boot to. To find out what it is, just Google the brand of your motherboard, or if it's like a laptop or like all in one where like it's like a Dell or something like that. look up that brand and boot key, and it will tell you which button to press as it's turning on. You can usually like hold it down as it's turning on and it'll do it. It'll load up a menu and then you just select the USB. How much would it cost at a repair shop? Usually over $80. Yeah, IT is hard to get into even as someone who has 15 years experience, 16 years experience. Yeah. I am currently looking for a job and it's been hard. Why are your nails painted? Because I like having painted nails. Why are you typing in a chat? Why does your laptop shut off after like 30 seconds without charging when the battery is full? That is most likely because your battery is old and not holding enough of a charge for it to keep up. You can use a program called Bat Info View. Pull it up on here. BATTINFO View. VIEW. Do that one. It's a piece of software by Nersoft. You're going to download this program, and then like it will tell you your battery health. It'll tell you like how much capacity it has at full, how much capacity it's supposed to have, and the health is going to be how much of the capacity it's supposed to have is still available. Even if even if the laptop is 3 months old, still run this software because it could be that there's a fault in the battery, and this will tell you if the battery health is low. BATTINFO VIEW. Bat Info View, all one word. You don't have any money for old Cisco equipment. You don't have to buy old Cisco equipment to do a home lab. My first home lab was built on old Netgear equipment, like way old, like 10 megabit per second equipment. My like originally when I set up my home lab, it was only on Wi-Fi, and then started doing it on wired connection and started running network cables and started building things out so I could have better equipment. And how much would it cost if you did it yourself? If you reinstalled Windows yourself, it would be free. All you would need is a USB drive and access to a computer that's working. That's it. Battery info view. Yes. It's gonna look like the logo for it is just like a little Windows box, like the older boxes for Windows XP, where it's got the blue border, and then it has like a green bar and a red bar in it. Why my RAM only have XMP? I don't know what you mean. I mean, starting with a simple file server is a fantastic way to get started in doing home lab stuff. Like, it's a beginning. Like, everyone needs a place to start. And so, even just starting with a file server, that's what I started with. What tutorial would you search for in YouTube? Install Windows from USB. Do I repair radio hardware as well? I have in the past. I have repaired so many different pieces of electronic equipment. Can I help you choose a laptop for engineering? No, because I don't have specific laptop recommendations. I have brand recommendations. I recommend Lenovo and Dell as my top two. Um, Usually on their sites they have fairly good deals going at all times, but I don't have specific recommendations because currently each of them has like over 1,000 different options just in laptops alone. So having specific recommendations, it's not even feasible. Ooh, the battery in your Flipper Zero went spicy pillow mode. Eek. Yeah, that's one I'm not looking forward to. If that day ever comes where I need to replace the battery in my Flipper, like the battery is exploding or something like that, I think I'm just removing the battery and hoping it works plugged in. So multiple people have asked me about parts and like price ranges and things like that. I don't give part recommendations, you guys. You're trying to install Windows 11 on your first PC build and it keeps having an error at 5%. The first thing I would check is redoing your actual USB drive that you're trying to install Windows from because it could be some fault with that. The other thing I would try is trying to run Linux from a USB drive. See if you have any luck with those two things because if you do, then you know it's something going on with the USB drive or the Windows installer. If it's something where even Linux is not working, then you probably need to take it into a repair shop that has tools and can test different parts. My cat's just looking up at me like, "What are you doing?" You're having issues trying to get Windows 11 loaded onto an old PC. How old? Does it meet all the system requirements for Windows 11? Do you use AI to fix computers? No, I can't stand using AI for things that it isn't really useful for. Um, you have a computer with a battery that has failed. Should you remove the battery or keep it in your computer? Remove the battery because if you keep trying to charge a battery that has failed, it can cause other issues like a spicy pillow. Is it true that Ubuntu and Red Hat is used for enterprise servers? Yes, there are a lot of enterprise servers that run both Ubuntu and Red Hat. Like, not at the same time, but like different servers running each of those. It just depends on the uh, IT group that installed them and which operating system worked best for what they're doing. Any tips on how to get into home labbing? Buy a mini computer like this one. This is a HP Elite Mini, and just start building out a home lab on something like that. Having to do virtual servers of quite a few things, like trying to build out a pfSense server, a TrueNAS server, and if you want a gaming server. Oh, also a file server is like with Jellyfin, or something like that to have a wide range of things that it does and are actually functional and used every day. How do you repair a TV with black screen with lines? Usually that means the TV is like the panel is broken and you need to replace the panel. Is VA panels good or decent for gaming? I don't know what VA panels is. Luft, I've said this multiple times now. I don't go through part breakdowns to recommend parts for people because that is something that I charge clients for and takes quite a bit of work. So I'm not going to sit here trying to find the part recommendations for every single person that asks. Usually during a live stream, I get like a dozen people asking, and so that would take up a lot of my time, and I would not be getting paid for it. So, sorry. Okay, goodbye, Luft. I'm guessing even if I gave you a recommendation, you wouldn't hear it because clearly you're not listening. Oh. Like it's bad enough that I haven't been streaming for almost a week, and so my views are down. Actually, over a week. I didn't stream last Thursday, and this is my makeup stream for this week. And I'm gonna be live again tomorrow. So okay. I think I should be able to play this game with a controller. I want to find out if I can. Okay. Net Cronus, the fact that you put simple clean in your message got that song stuck in my head now. And for anyone that doesn't know the song, you need to go play Kingdom Hearts. The entire series. Go play the entire series of Kingdom Hearts, and then you'll know. Is it worth getting a PS5 Pro over a 3060 PC? Honestly, the 3060 PC will probably last you longer, and you'll probably have more options with it. I prefer consoles because they're one button solutions, but not everyone wants a one button solution. They don't mind the extra headache of a PC and things like that. What have I used my flipper for? Usually education and things like that. Like I usually use it to learn about stuff and try things out. Oh my gosh, that's cool. That's jump, that's crouch. Oh, it's that. Okay. This game was actually sent to me by the developer, so honestly, I don't mind the Dark Souls series once I realized that you're not meant to like it's not meant to be super hard or punishing. It's just very grindy. Like that's the main thing in the Dark Souls series. It's just like I played Dark Souls 1. I haven't beaten it, but I've gotten fairly far just because it's one that I'm just like this is going to take up too much time. Um but I learned that because of isn't it Life. Oh, what is it? It's the one where you play as Pinocchio, and it's a Dark Souls type game. There's a way for me to bring this down, and I can't remember how. There's a hole there. Can I play Dead by Daylight, please? Not my cup of tea at this point. Uh, Unraid or TrueNAS for average consumer? TrueNAS every single time. Would I say the Flipper Zero has informed me on security flaws to watch out for in the future? Not really. It's mainly like more or less taught me about different um attack vectors more than anything. Yeah, I don't want to deal with AI bros. That's why I say no AI. What are you doing? Oh, I can make a location radar. Do I know anything in virtualized obfuscation? I know a few things in that realm. What's your question? What? Yeah? You're just a little baby? You're just a baby? No, come here. Okay, I gotta let my cat out really quick. My other cat was not where I was expecting her to be. I fully expected her to be laid out on the stairs like she's been the past few days, just enjoying like being able to lay on her side and have carpet next to her. Okay, that type of obfuscation, I would not know the answer to. Yes, I have some boiled moth still. Ooh, there's stuff I can go get over there. The fact that A is not used. Debian VM on Proxmox? Wait. Decided to start my home lab journey. Still trying to figure out if I should run it on Debian or Debian on Proxmox. I recommend doing it Proxmox as your base layer. Because when you have it virtualized, then you can do things like snapshots. I like how some of the buildings crumble when you get rid of stuff. Ah, it went out of range. Also, if anyone's wondering, I'm probably only going to stream for 1 more hour. So if you guys have more questions, make sure to get them in. I know I was able to get that before. Where did I get it before from? Must have been over here. Because this one's really fun to watch. I apparently didn't save last time I closed this game. Oh, am I out of range from here? I need to get up there? I don't know how to get up there. There we go. Okay, I just have to look at a specific area of this thing to get it to show up here. I should also look at my inventory. My inventory is absolutely full. I should not have come up here yet. Also, there are moths. Loving my balloon right now. You got wax in different parts of your laptop. How cooked are you? Um, it depends on how low melt the wax is, because like the thing I would recommend is take it outside on a hot day and see if the wax will melt and come out of your laptop. Don't like try to use a hair dryer. A hair dryer is going to be too much heat, but like if you can heat it up a little bit, it can melt the wax and then it can drip out. But you don't want to heat it up too much to melt any plastic or anything like that. Let's see. Can I make another storage thing? Ah, I can. Perfect. Your weird mouse randomly disconnects even though Windows says connected. You've tried many PC ports. Could be that your mouse is just broken in some weird way that makes it so it's not really usable. Like, especially if you tried different ports on your PC, then most likely it is the mouse is just broken. Wait, can I put this on top of the other box? I'd love if I could put it on top of it. Nope. Okay. It's gonna go right there. Ah, there we go. Can I put like the teacup on it? I can. And the plate. Oh, okay. Quick move. Clean water. Can I like combine these? Hey, I did. Okay. There we go. Now I can move things around in my inventory and I have more room. Because there's still some stuff in here. How was last Saturday? What was I doing last Saturday? My partner was here. I have no clue what I was doing last Saturday. Is there a flashlight? Nope, this doesn't have a flashlight either. I need a flashlight or to wait until it's bright again. Oh, you know what I can do in the meantime, though? I can go destroy that building. Oh, I can't exit this room. No. Okay, let's see if I can get an aim on that. I need to go up to get it. Okay. Why is the cat on a leash? What are you talking about? I mean, I do have a cat, and I have a leash and harness for both of my cats. Taking a cat out for a walk is so much fun. It's a little bit difficult to like get them harness and leash trained, but it's worth it. Okay, I already know what that is. Okay, so now let's destroy some stuff. Anyone got any more tech questions? Because if not, I'm just gonna play games until the time runs out, and then I'm gonna go and relax with more Scooby Snacks. Which I'm so sad. I posted a video where I answered questions pretending to have Scooby Snacks, and the video got like no views. I worked hard on that picture on that video. Also, the other one, the audio completely got destroyed, so I don't have the other one to upload yet. But I'm going to be filming another one. There we go. I got that door so it can now open. So if I come over here, haha, I'm in this room again. I'm trying to like go over this place with a decent fine tooth comb before leaving to make sure I'm not like missing anything. But let's go destroy a building really quick because there's this building over here. I think if I stand maybe on top, I know I've done it before, so unless they change something. I really like survival games like this that are fairly like low stakes. At least for this part, it's low stakes. Oh, I'm out of power. Also, why would I criticize your home lab? My home lab has been way worse than yours is now. Like I've had very bad home labs. What kind of router do I have? I use Alta Labs. I use their Route 10. I like it. I love the Alta Labs equipment. I'm planning on doing a home lab like video recommendation stuff, and Alta Labs is a key piece of that. Also, notice how the building got shorter. I was busy destroying other things, but the building is now drastically shorter. Job and salary, I currently work for myself. I'm closing up my computer repair shop and going back into the normal workforce to be an IT guy. Part time, not full time. I'm going to be a part time IT guy. There is something over there. There's a ladder over there. Oh, yeah. My router used to be pfSense router using an old business grade desktop. Worked fantastically. It was just kind of a pain for some things, and I wanted an easier setup so I didn't have to maintain anything. And that's why I went with the Alta Lab stuff. Oh, is that in range now? Yes. Get the billboard. Or solar things, right? There's nothing down here. There's no reason to come over here. I wonder if I could have parked my blimp over here. After help desk, what do I recommend? I usually recommend people go and work for an MSP. I've worked for an MSP for years as a subcontractor. I've done a lot less work in the past uh, year and a half now because I was caretaker for a cancer patient. So that meant that was my priority. Okay, I don't see anything I can scan or break down. And I already checked in there. An MSP is a managed service provider. They provide IT services to different companies. Like they replace IT departments at companies. So instead of having to pay a big IT bill, you just have like with paying multiple employees, you just pay a smaller IT bill and you have an entire IT team because the MSP usually has multiple employees who are all working for them doing the IT work. So you get the benefit of having a full IT team without paying for a full IT team. Um, and usually MSPs are willing, like especially like smaller MSPs are willing to hire on contract workers to help get stuff done because contract workers like are willing to quickly pick up and go do things when the MSP is just like, hey, we don't have enough hands on this project. Can you go help with it? And so that's why I recommend working for an MSP for a little bit because you can get hands on experience doing a lot of different work. Oftentimes it's just like installing cables or things like that. But yeah, Claude will wipe all of IT work. Oh, yay. When will it happen? Do you promise? Should we mention the bubble? Or are you just going to be like, the bubble doesn't exist? There is no war in Ba Sing Se, right? Oh, I haven't had this lowered. Dang it. Okay, I've completed all the research I can do right now, which means there are things that I can build. Location radar. Oh my gosh, this is the broken thing that's inside the building there. Yay! And I put it like, oh, I keep forgetting. Sure. Best certificates to get, whichever ones. So the recommendation I always have with certifications is to get the ones that like jobs that you want require. So look at like 5 to 10 job postings of the jobs you want and get the certifications that they mention. Like, and you want to get the ones that all of them mention or the majority of them mention. Should you attempt to repair your Surface SL4 battery, I recommend buying a new system because any Surface repairs, unless it's like the Surface desktop, is going to be a pain in the butt. Like, honestly. Yay! Okay, I should just put the radar there because I can fly while looking at it. Let's pick up and we'll put it right there. There we go. I can look at it while I fly. Then recommend a laptop to get that won't break the bank. I don't know laptop recommendations right now. I know what brands I would recommend, but I don't know specific laptops that I would recommend. I recommend Lenovo and Dell. Those are the two brands that I recommend. Um, Also, Apple has the MacBook Neo, which is actually a fairly phenomenal system. Oh, I have dirty water. Okay, I can put the dirty water in here. Haha. Down on this to go drink some water. Fly to the source of the unknown signal. I kind of want to do that before doing the main quest. Let's see. Can I get more altitude? No. Okay, I'm gonna go around this. Okay, the signal is like straight through this building. So can I make it through this building? Running Chrome and your CPU is at 200C? Oof. Oh. I can't make it through the building. Why does it look like there's a bit of a storm? I can see what I'm heading towards, and it's that blinky light over there. Oh, there's another blinky light over there. Oh, I can see the blinky lights on the map. You have an HP 360 Gen 9 with 96 gigabytes of RAM. What can you do? You can do a lot with that. What are you wanting to do is the main question. Hey, it actually shows I'm almost there. There's a mystery. Oh, there's a bunch of mystery objects. Oh, and the main question's over that way. I thought the main quest was in the bottom right hand corner. I really hope I'm not going to need a weapon. Oh, you want to learn how to do admin server? Okay. The thing I would recommend is installing Proxmox. Um, and then doing virtual machines of like Windows Server because you can do Windows Server as a trial. I want to say it's like a 90-day trial at a time. And so you can test it out and try things out and learn things on it over like a 3-month period and then reinstall it if you want to learn more or try different things. It's a way to keep your home lab very like fresh and refreshed as you go to learn different things. It's what I've done frequently. Like it's what I did with Microsoft Server 2012. That is a oh my gosh, that's like a power factor or something. Well, especially if you're going to try to do like server admin stuff, most of the time you're going to run into like Windows servers for like small and medium business. Then Linux servers are going to usually be enterprise or like data center type servers. So it all depends on like what type of servers you're wanting to like try doing admin work for. Oh, I have no more fuel in my engine. Okay. I'm just like, what just happened? Why'd I stop? Is there any other places I need to repair because I took a building to the face? Do I need to fix the balloon? No, the balloon is fine. Okay. Okay, one of the things I kind of don't like in this game is when you stop with the throttle, it like hard stops. You don't have momentum. See if I can park up on this decently. Oh, I don't have enough power in this anymore. Okay, I think that kind of wraps up me streaming for today. I'm gonna go play games and I'm gonna relax and find food. I need to make myself some food. So thank you guys for hanging out with me today. I am actually really enjoying this game. I'm gonna hide in my ship while it's raining a little bit, and I'm gonna say save. Yeah, this is Forever Skies. This is really fun. You come back to Earth after it's like been decimated, and you're in a flying ship, and I like it. So thank you guys for hanging out with me. I will be back again live tomorrow because that's my normal streaming day. I just wanted to stream today because I wanted tomorrow to go decently and I wanted to make sure everything was updated and working. So thank you guys for hanging out with me. I will see you guys later.